All right, the pro shuttle. So we're going to talk about first, we'll break it down into phases. Now, notice here, I let the athlete lean to the side. Some camps you'll go to, they'll let you get a little bit of a lean, some that they won't. To play it safe, don't lean out of your start for the videos that you send in. But this is a great illustration and a teaching point that this is the most efficient way to come out of it. Because if I want to move this way, I need to get my body leaning this way. And as we've talked about previously, shin angles are going to tell you which direction that you're going. So right now, those shin angles are leaning the direction that he wants to go. That's what's going to be best to help propel him in that direction. Not only that, let's talk about this concept. If I'm leaning this way with my shins, that means I have weight on the inside edge of this foot and the outside edge of this foot. So again, the inside edge there and the outside edge of this foot to help propel me in the direction that I want to go. So what you'll notice when we start, similar to coming out of our 40 stance, we're in a 3-point stance here. The arm of the direction I'm going is the arm that's down. So if I'm going to the right or left as we're looking at it, the right arm, or the left as we're looking at it, arm is down. What you'll see is a 2-foot push. He's practically jumping out of the stance. Pushes with 2 feet, he's jumping out of the stance because this foot here is further away from the destination. It's going to come off the ground sooner, and immediately, just like this is just a lateral start to a 40. It's a 2-foot stance or 2-foot push. The rear foot comes off the ground first, and we need to drive that knee through, which is exactly what happens here. Karaoke, popular drill and warm-ups, that's exactly what this step here, and a reason that drill was popularized, not for this drill specifically, not for the 20-yard shuttle specifically, but driving that knee across our body so that we can get that foot in the ground and propel us the direction we want to go. So it's a 2-foot push. That leg crosses over our body. We push into the ground. That's all one step. So he's gone almost 2 yards, about 5 feet. That 1 foot there is covered almost 6 feet on that one step because it's an efficient start. And that's the start that we need to be able to copy here. 2-foot push, drive that leg across. 1 step gets us almost to that 2nd yard marker there out of the 5 yards. So it's a huge chunk already in 1 step. We want to get to this yard line over here, that first 5 yards, in 4 steps. So that's 1 step. Notice he's leaning forward. His body's taking him towards the line. 2nd step, still leaning forward. The 3rd and 4th steps are where we need to begin to lean back. So now look, that 3rd to last step is pointing now in this direction. So as he comes in here, this step's pointing back. That step's pointing the direction that he's heading. So as we come in on that 3rd and 4th step, we need to angle back towards the line that we came from, because that's the direction that we want to go. And now you can see here, other than the arm that's down, we're now back in our start position. The arm has changed because the line is to the left of the athlete as we're looking at it, so you want to touch with the arm closest to the line. But notice his arm is down, he's facing the camera, and he's leaning the direction he wants to go. It's exactly how you started. So here, we just need to copy our start. It's a 2-foot push, drive that knee through, and push the ground so that we can accelerate towards the start line. He's got his foot, notice, goes behind the line. Reason being is if his foot were to come down at the line or even closer, and if you notice, his hand doesn't actually get the full line here. His hand is a little short. If he would have brought his foot a little further out, he'd be able to touch the line. And it is okay to go past the line because it allows you to achieve this lean at your shins. Now, if he would have brought his foot at the line and touched the line, then his shins would be forced to be more vertical, which would slow us down because we need to go back this way, not vertical. Because he's run these drills before and he's in tune with his body, he doesn't touch the line here because he's maintaining these shin angles. He knows if he reaches that arm a little bit more and gets to the line, because his foot is on the line, his shin angles aren't going to be in the right position. So that's the first 5 yards. Now what we need here is to get 10 yards. The goal is in 6 or 8 steps. It's going to be in 6 or 8. If you're an explosive athlete, you're trying to get there in 6. And if you're not as explosive, if you're a bigger athlete, take the 8 steps. So what you'll see here, we get out in 1, 2. Mind you how far forward he's leaning on all these steps. He's got a forward lean because that's the direction he's going until the last few steps. So we'll take this step into account. Look, the step is way out in front of his hips. Those are his hips. The step lands here, way out in front of his hips, because now the shin angle is pointing backwards, because that's the direction he needs to finish. Notice here, as he's going forward, the steps are going to land right under his hips. But as we want to slow down, we want a huge step, weight out in front of, or foot out in front of us, which helps take all of our weight back. And then this step, slightly past the line, we're able to touch the line, and now my shins are angled that way. So that was 6 steps, and then we want to try to get across this finish line in 3 steps, which he does. So 1, 2, 3. And again, coming out of this line is the same as coming out of the start or coming out of the first 5-yard phase, using the inside and outside edges of the feet. So we got great shin angle here. Whoops. Great shin angle here. And we're using the inside edge of this foot, using the outside edge of this foot to drive out. So now just reviewing a larger athlete here. 2-foot push, drives across. Boom, 1 step is done. 2, leans back. 3, you see that foot comes past the line. He's able to touch. He's going to take 8 steps here as a bigger athlete. 8. He goes to swipe the line. So some people will teach the touch, which is what you saw in the previous video, or this swipe here. And the swipe is just constant motion, and might feel better for you to watch that hand that touches the line go right into your arm swing. So there's a swipe and a touch. Go with what you feel most comfortable with. And then you'll see here, he doesn't use his hips as much. He drops his shoulders, and that allows his hips to sway back this way a little bit. So he actually false steps a little. He steps 1 step there with his right leg, that front leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes him 5 steps to get across that line. Drop those hips, and although the shins need to be angled the right way, we got to make sure our hips stay oriented to the direction that we're going as well. So he has way too much weight on this leg, his back leg right there, and he's not able to put enough weight on this front leg, which is what causes him to false step and takes longer to get through to finish. We also need to talk about this Z pattern from the test. So you'll notice as this athlete here is running it, he's going to maintain roughly a straight line throughout the whole portion of this test. See how he's able to stay along that yellow line the whole time, which is great. If you feel most comfortable doing that, that's what's most important here. But with an athlete, it might be a little less explosive, might be able to absorb a little bit less force at high speeds. Notice the angle that the athlete's going to take here. He's going to start from behind the hashes, and he's going to go right in front of the hashes at an angle. Then he's going to finish this sprint here. And then he's going to finish in front of these hashes. So he creates a Z pattern, and what that does is it takes the angle away from the turns. So instead of having to turn a complete 180 degrees, we're turning a little bit less. And now is it adding a little distance? Yes, but depending on how strong you are, how much force you can absorb, how agile you are, and your ability to change direction, this may be a better option for you to lessen the degrees of the turn so that you can be more efficient in your turn and get a better time.